Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast for late diagnosed autistic adults who want real relationships without fake masks. Let's talk connection, clarity, and showing up as your authentic self. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about when to shut up. When not to say things, or sometimes you just say them wrong. They don't come out right. If you've been feeling like that, and by the way, right and wrong is pretty subjective, but when I say right or wrong, I mean, did it get the desired result that you were looking for? Did you get a smile, or did you get a frown? Did you understand why? So maybe you don't know what you said, so we're going to talk about that. In this episode, we're going to talk about 5 things not to say when you're trying to make new friends. And of course, what to say instead. Are you ready? Let's go. I don't know, raise your hand if you were taught how to make friends. Or did somebody just said, push you into a crowd of kids and say, go talk to people, go make friends, just be friends at school. Oh man, those were the days. Listen, I was never taught, and there's a good chance that you weren't never taught either. And it's a good chance that our parents were never taught, so they couldn't teach us. And there's some people out there who just have a natural ability to connect with people, and that just wasn't me. And if you feel that way too, or if you've experienced that, then look, you have to keep listening, because you probably said some of these things that push people away, and you've just been dumbfounded, like me, just dumbfounded. I don't know what I said or why they're upset. So I'd like to help you understand that, because really, truthfully, not many people are going to stop and explain it to you. Not many people are. They're just going to figure out, like if you're in your 30s and 40s now, people are not going to stop, because they're thinking you've probably had enough time to figure this out. But no. So let me tell you about my experience. It's kind of like, a lot of people are going out there trying to be impressive and saying things that they've just regurgitated from other places. And you're probably wondering why people say these things, like I did. I wondered, why do you say them? Well, they just sound good, and I've heard other people say them, and look, they have friends, or they have connections, they have community, so you just regurgitate those things, but you don't really understand the why underneath it. And because you may not understand the why, or when to use it, or how to execute it, and say what you need to say with other people, it comes out at the wrong time, to the wrong person, and maybe in a tone that's unfamiliar to them. And there's all these little nuances that go into conversation. But I want to talk about some specific phrases. So just think about this, as a job interview. So it's kind of relatable to this, because there's still connections, still relationships, but it is a professional relationship, right? And it's like when you're meeting your friends, you were going on an interview. Essentially, you are trying to find out whether they're a good match or a good connection. And if you relate this to the professional connections, like in job interviews, you know how people try to sound impressive by regurgitating some things that they've heard before. I have no weaknesses. I am a perfectionist. That's just how I am. I'm pretty good at what I do. Why do you want this job? And you just regurgitate something, right? You don't really... Many people may not really think about why, or they don't want to give that answer because it might not be in line with the hiring manager. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing when we try to make these connections on a personal level. We're constantly thinking about what the other person wants, and we're not really sure. So we go through this Rolodex of sentences, of things that we've heard other people say, and we spout it out. And oops, it's the wrong thing. Or oops, it upset them. That's not what you were looking for, and you have no idea why, because it was supposed to work. It was supposed to work. It's hard, but it's not a problem that we can't solve. It's not. So I want to talk about 5 things people accidentally say when they're trying to make new friends and better ways to say them that will really open up the door to connection. So the first one is, I don't really need friends. Some people say I really don't need friends because it is meant to show that you are independent. You're independent, and my observations, and maybe you have observed this too, but I observed when people get rejected or people don't get what they want, they continue to chase after that. And I've been that person myself, but I've also seen it in other people. And people say, no, you chase after that. You just want it a lot more. So if you say this, I don't really need friends, it is supposed to show that you're independent and that people will be attracted to you because of your independence or your rareness of who you are. And people will automatically attract. I've seen this happen. So it's not unreasonable to believe that this would happen. But here's what really happens if you're looking for really deep connection. Here's what really happens with people who want real relationships. They don't want to play that kind of game. They want people who want them. So it sounds like you're too independent. It sounds like you're above connection. It sounds like rejection. And if you are in a more healed state, when you are choosing people who choose you, if you're a person who wants to be chosen, don't say I'm unchoosable. So instead, let's say this. I'm still figuring out how to build the kind of relationships that feel right for me. I'm still figuring out how to build the kind of relationships that feel right for me. It's honest, it's vulnerable, and it's way more relatable. And there's that key word, vulnerable. You need vulnerability in your relationships. All right, number 2. That's just how I am. That's just how I am. I'm not changing for you. Listen, I've heard this so many times and I've said it so many times because it is something that keeps me safe. It was something that keeps me safe. You know, it shows that you're not a pushover. That's probably the intention behind it for you, but I know it was for me. It was the intention behind it. I'm not a pushover. I make up my own mind and I do what I want. And again, people, from my observations, are attracted to those kinds of people. So I needed to be one. That's just how I am. This doesn't help. It doesn't help because if you're looking for those meaningful, close relationships, other people want to know that you understand how they feel and how your actions impact them. And if you say that's just how I am, then you are not taking an opportunity to listen or care, to show that you care, right? So instead of saying that's just me, start saying, I'm learning how to show up better in conversations. Let me know if I do something that feels off. Something along those lines. I'm still learning how to show up better in conversations. This will allow people to be heard. Everyone wants to be heard, understood, appreciated, and accepted. And you invite them to do so. And people love it. I love it. I love when people listen to me and understand how I feel. And if you've never had that experience before, you're missing out on something. But you first got to give it. The third thing, I just want to be liked. I just want to be liked. Oh boy. You know, all this stuff is from my own personal experience, and this one really hits me hard. I just want to be liked. I mean, after years of rejection, after misunderstanding, after really not knowing how to fit in, I'm like, just please, can somebody? I just want to be liked. That screams desperation. And you're thinking that you're telling people exactly what you want. I was thinking that. I'm telling people exactly what I want, so there's no mystery. I just want to be liked. I'll do what I can. I'm going to people please. I'm going to fit in. That's the signal that I gave out. I just want to be liked. And we've been there trying to fit in these places. But If you say that, it screams desperation. It screams to another person responsibility. They need to be responsible for you, your feelings, and your well being because you've got nobody else. That's going to send them in the other direction. So instead, you want to say something like, I'm looking for friendships where we both feel seen and appreciated. You want to be able to consider that other person as well. And they will feel seen. They will feel seen. The fourth one, I'm the kind of person who doesn't trust easily. Ooh. I'm the kind of person who doesn't trust easily. Hey, you're just trying to let people know who you are. I mean, they're asking you questions and you're not opening up. I'm the kind of person who doesn't trust easily. It doesn't come natural to me. What this sounds like, it sounds like a warning. It sounds like people have to be careful around you because you don't trust them. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't trust how they're moving, so they got to watch out for you because they don't know when you are going to not trust them, accuse them, side-eye them, attack them, whatever it is. I'm the kind of person who doesn't trust easily. That's what you're conveying. So instead of saying that, because we know it can be true, if you've been hurt so many times, you just don't want to let that out and say it that way, even though you might be feeling it. You just don't want to drop that on your new friends, your potential new connections. Instead, you want to say something that's inviting. Trust is something I build slowly, but I'm open to seeing where this goes. Trust is something I build slowly, but I'm open to seeing where this goes. It's still protective. You're like, hey, I'm not going to tell you everything. I've been hurt too many times before. But if you show me a little bit about you and I get to know you, then I think this could work. That's hopeful. And here I want to say you really got to do the work with it. This is where strategic vulnerability comes in, where you really have to do the work. What does it mean to know what trust is? Like, how can they demonstrate what trust is for you? How can you open up a little more and share to show them that you're starting to trust them? Those are questions that you need to answer so you can move past the surface level and create those real relationships. And this is all I talk about in my coaching. This is all I help people with. Number 5. I've never had any real friends. I've never had any real friends. Now, this might be true because it's been hard for you to connect. You're missing social cues. People just don't understand you. You don't understand people. You hate small talk. It's just annoying as heck. And you don't want to trust. You can't open up. You've been hurt too many times. It's the multitude of things that just keep piling up and piling up. And you just feel like you've never had any real friends. At least like the ones you saw on TV, where everybody just gets along after 30 minutes of whatever on not YouTube, but Full House or Fresh Prince, or those TV shows, Living Single, where they fought and they made up, and you were like, wow, this is so easy. Why can't I do that? And you looked around in your life and you were like, oh, there's so many people who have friends and I don't have any. I don't know how this happens. So you've never felt like you had a relationship that you've seen outward. And that is valid. I've never had any real friends. That's valid. But we're not telling people this. We're not telling new people this. We're talking to confidants. We're talking to people who can help us resolve the issue where we've never had any real friends, but we're not telling new people this. You know why? Because you're saying that I need pitied. I mean, that is likely how other people are going to experience that. I've never had any real friends. Or you're going to attract those people who are narcissists who are going to take advantage of you because you're completely alone. We're not going to open up that opportunity to invite that to happen. So you don't say that. I've never had any real friends. You don't want to apply pressure or make them inspire is a better word, because I don't like the idea of making people feel something, but inspire them to have pity for you. That's not the kind of energy you want. You're going to create imbalanced relationships. Again, whether it's a narcissist who wants to take advantage of you, or you can attract the therapist friend who wants to do nothing but help you and can't see you being more than what you are. And those kind of relationships never work because you are going to get exhausted by both of them. Both the narcissist who is just going to take from you, and then you've got the therapist friend who never really wants to see you be more successful because your whole relationship at the very jump was built on the fact that you were less than them because you had less than what they have. You have no friends, you have no identity, you have no one, and they are there to help you and help you and help you. And the moment you become better, and you learn who you are, and you start feeling better about yourself and having less pity for yourself and feeling like you're connected, they are going to not like that because the whole relationship was based on it. So, long story short, I've never had any real friends. We're not saying that to people. Instead, let's say friendship has been tricky for me in the past, but I'm giving it a fresh start. It's honest. It really is true. It has been tricky for you, but it doesn't invite the kind of pathos, the kind of pity that the first one did. It doesn't say, oh, take care of me. It says, I understand where I am and I'm just figuring things out. I'm welcoming you into the world of me just a little bit. And so there you go. It invites growth. It invites the ability to see where you are now and not stuck where you were then. So here's the thing. You don't have to be perfect to make friends. You don't have to be the ideal sitcom character who is just the life of the party. That's not even you, right? You want to be authentic. You want to talk about things that are important and interesting to you. You want to be real. You just have to be willing to learn and adjust and to stay open, right? People are attracted to honesty. They want the effort. And if they like you enough, they like that authenticity, they see you're trying, they will deal with the messy. In fact, they will help you work through it. They won't sit on the side. They're going to help you work through it. And that's the beautiful thing of creating these relationships. So the next time you meet someone new, I want you to remember that it is not about impressing them. We're not trying to impress them. We're trying to invite them into our world. We're trying to get them to know us, to accept us, appreciate us. Now, let me ask you, what was something you said in the first conversation that didn't land the way you hoped? You can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment wherever you're listening. Now let's do the listener letters. If you have a question about your family, friends, business, coworkers, anything that goes on with your relationships, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. Hey, real quick, I've got a special gift for you. If something in this episode resonated with you and you want to talk through it with someone who gets it, I'm opening up 5 free 1-hour consultations this month. And they're usually 30 minutes, so you're getting twice as much. And this is only for podcast listeners, so you won't find this booking on my website. Once these 5 spots are gone, they are gone. So book yours using the link in the description. All right, this one is about rejection sensitivity disorder, and only in one context, they said. So how is it possible that I can have really thick skin in most contexts? At work, I roll with the punches and I actually enjoy getting feedback for improvement, and I'm level-headed in my relationships with my family and friends, but with my partner, I am the most sensitive, delicate little flower coming apart from the seams over a mere change in tone. Is there any advice or explanation for this? Well, I would say, thank you for writing. I would say that, and I think there's this idea of these expectations that we have unconsciously with our relationships and how we interact with other people. And that would be a key piece of this, right? That would be a key piece. So, I think I'm more sensitive with my family members than I am with a stranger. And it's because I believe those people who are my family should know and understand and accept me more than anybody else in the world. More than anybody else in the world. And it could be that for you and a person in your life, right? It doesn't have to be your romantic partner. It doesn't have to be your family member. It could be somebody else that you admire a whole lot, a mentor, somebody in your life that you want them to understand you more than anything. And so you work towards that, or you feel it automatically. And in these other relationships, like at work, feedback is not something that is meant to be taken personally, because the driver to be in the place, to speak to the people at all, is to actually do good work, to do something that's fulfilling to you, or at least you like doing, right? And if somebody out there is going to give you feedback to help you be better at the thing you already like doing, and you're interested in having that kind of feedback, it's not that you want them to understand and accept you in any other way. You want that feedback. You're going to push everything else aside, focus on getting that goal of receiving feedback, and not really care or think about anything else that doesn't relate to you getting the feedback that's going to help you be more successful, because that's what you want to do. That's your purpose in that space. But you move yourself into a space with your significant other or family member or somebody else you admire, that you want them to understand you, then it's different. The purpose of the conversation is different. You're entirely feeling like you want to be understood in a different way, right? You want to be understood in a different way. And so that's why you may be so rejection sensitive. It just varies from space to space, from person to person. If you're constantly feeling it from all sides, that's where we get into a lot of trouble, right? Constantly feeling it from strangers, from associates. We're feeling it from people who could be friends. We're feeling it from our family members. We're feeling it from everybody. Just, yeah. We will fry our nervous system. Will be a constant wreck. So the key there, if you're experiencing anything like this, the key there is to really understand what you want in these situations and how you feel about other people, like really understanding why it's important for other people to know you deeply or understand you deeply. Where's this rejection coming from? Where is it coming from? Because you have to get it. The call is coming from inside. That's what it is. But you have to understand why it's important for other people to accept you and appreciate you. And why is it everybody? Like, for some people, it's one or two people. But for you, it's everybody. Everybody has to understand me. Everybody has to be kind to me. Everybody has to be nice to me. There's something else going on there, right? So that's one of the key pieces. So if you're feeling this rejection sensitivity disorder, breathe. Certainly breathe. I mean, I could probably do a whole another episode about that. And by the way, let me know if you would like me to talk more about this. Leave it in the comments. Let me know. But as far as you, the person who wrote this, rejection sensitivity in one context, there's something really important about this person and some of the things that you want them to understand about you. And I think if you had a conversation about that with yourself, understanding what is so important about it, what you're hearing, because it is probably, it may not be your partner's voice. It may be some other voice that you've heard from someone else that's unconsciously running inside of your head. And when you hear, when you feel, when you understand something from your partner that triggers that voice, you hear that voice, and boom, you're back in a situation where you're very upset because your partner represents that voice that you first heard the first time you got upset, maybe many years ago when you were a kid, upset in your head, and it just replays and all the feelings just come out. That's a lot deep. That's a lot deep, but if you're rolling with that, if you're thinking about that, I mean, if this makes sense to you, you are definitely my kind of person. I love to think about myself and others and the impact that they have on me and how they're experiencing me. Anyway, you with the rejection sensitivity in one person, I hope this helped you a lot. If it has, leave a comment. If it hasn't, tell me why. All right? Take care. Hey, thanks for listening to the Patterns of Possibility. If you're ready to build relationships without the mask, visit patternsofpossibility.com. You don't have to do the connection the hard way. You just have to do it your way. And finally, I appreciate you being a listener. If you got something of value out of this podcast, please share it with other people and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening app. We'll see you next time. Take care.